fam, what's good? What's good? I hope the show well and keeping safe. Welcome back to another one. Welcome back to another one, right? So, fam, listen, this week has been quite an overwhelming one for me, right? And one thing that I've realized was, it's something someone asked me the other day, right? How can they learn trading, right? How do I stay disciplined? How do I find myself doing what I am doing, right? And I realized that, you know what, you just have to start. My reply was YouTube. You can simply just watch some YouTube videos, right? And YouTube is the place to be. YouTube is the place to be. It depends on who you want to listen to as well, right? Who are you relating to the most, right? Who do you understand the most, right? That's most important. But if you feel like you also want to invest yourself into a mentor, into, having those private sessions, those one-on-one sessions, cool, do it, right? I personally do think that that is the way to go, right? So that you can find yourself just squeezing out that extra juice, once it is that actual one-on-one session, etc. Right? But other than that, what, I realized that throughout this journey, right? Throughout this journey, you're gonna have to be the person as well. It's not gonna be easy, but you're gonna have to be the person who's gonna cheer yourself up always. Right? There's gonna be times where your back is against the wall, where you're gonna be like, what should I do now? What now? Right? And you're gonna have to figure it out yourself. Right? Those moments right there, those are the moments that are making you the person who you are. It's making you the trader who you are, right? You see a problem and you solve it. For every problem, there is a solution, right? Some people just don't see the solution, right? Some people will just act and just do something, right? And that's me. I just act, I just do, right? If I'm in a situation, I'm just gonna do it. And that's one thing that I've realized, right? And I do think that many of you are struggling inside the journey simply because you can't, you can't cheer yourself up. You can't give yourself that applause, right? And like I always preach on my channel, celebrate your small wins, right? Celebrate your small wins. Because if you're gonna really think about it, when you were small, right? When you were born, you couldn't walk. Right? You couldn't walk, but you saw other people are walking, you saw other people were running, right? Now, what happened when you have found yourself giving your first, you just stood up, right? As a baby, you just stood up as a baby. What happened? Your parents, whosoever is watching after you, they will cheer you up. They will be like, oh, he's standing, he's standing, he's standing, right? What will happen next? Boom, you will fall down. But since they have found themselves cheering for you, that is in your nature. What you're gonna do next? You're gonna find yourself standing back up, right? And you are gonna try and walk. So now you are finding yourself walking, taking your first step. What's gonna happen? They're gonna cheer. Oh, he's walking, he's walking, walking, walking. Wow, look at this, right? Even hold your hand so that you can find yourself walking, right? Self-esteem is being built in that moment, right? There is support, there is hype, there is, there's everything that you need to find yourself being able to walk, right? And then after a while, you're gonna find yourself being able to walk, and now all of a sudden you can run, right? But with that being said, there was people who basically hyped you up, right? Who supported you, who cheered for you, right? But unfortunately, if you are gonna find yourself being on this journey, right, expect the opposite. Expect the opposite, right? People aren't necessarily going to find themselves cheering for you. They can't cheer for you because you're not at where you want to be, right? So, like, why should they cheer? Right? They won't cheer for you because they don't understand what you are doing because it is an alien topic, right? They won't understand and will give you certain things that you don't need to find yourself hearing, right? And this is a reality. It's reality. right? And from many people, it's not coming from a bad place. It's coming from a good place, actually, right? But it's simply because they don't understand what you are doing, right? They don't understand what you're doing. So with that being said, you're going to have to be the person who is literally going to be like, you know what? This is my journey. This is what I want. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is me doing it, right? That should be the mentality. Whether you're going to fall, you're going to have to get back up and you're going to have to find yourself walking, right? If you feel like you can't get up, you're going to have to make yourself get up, right? That is the journey. That is how you are going to find yourself becoming the better person, right? Because for every setback you have and you come back, right? That's when you earn a few points, right? Like experience points, experience points. You're leveling up, leveling up, leveling up, right? But many of you are looking down on those moments. Don't look down on those moments. Cherish those moments, right? Because I mean, what is a success story if you don't have any failures, right? What's a success story if you don't have any failures? So embrace it, right? Embrace it. So we're gonna find ourselves tapping into the DXY first, right? And then we are gonna tap into the NASDAQ. All right. All right, all right. So tapping into the DXY, right? Looking at our monthly time frame. Now, the monthly time frame is finding itself tapping within an area of demand. And one thing that we can see is that, you know what, price is, you know what, somewhat fluctuating within this actual inversion fee value gap we have found ourselves creating right over there, right? And we do have 10 days and 16 hours for this candle to find itself closing, right? This monthly candle to find itself closing, right? And from the looks of this candle, since we took out these actual lows, you know, it does look like the DXY wants to find itself having a further continuation move back towards the downside, right? But let's scale to the weekly time frame and see what is happening on the weekly time frame. Now, over the course of last week, we found ourselves having a beautiful session. Fam, listen, you know that I always found myself coming like twice a week on YouTube, right? This will be one, and then I will always do like on Monday, but tomorrow I will find myself being live again on Nick's channel, right? So you can find yourself catching me there as well, right? That will basically be during the New York session, right? So at Trader Nick, we will be there doing what we need to find ourselves doing. All right. So looking at the weekly time frame, we can see that we missed our point of interest by literally few pips. And then we had a beautiful shift back towards the upside, right? Now, I do know that, you know what, I basically said that, hey, if we aren't going to find ourselves having a closure below, right, then I won't consider us basically being bearish in structure, right, on the weekly time frame. And we can see that we found ourselves taking out liquidity and we had a beautiful shift back towards the upside, right? Now, looking at my weekly time frame, and we do have 10 days left, right? All I'm trying to do is figure out, are we going to have another bullish candle or are we going to have a bearish candle? That's basically all I'm trying to figure out when it comes down to the DXY, right? And from the looks of this candle, it does look like we can find ourselves having another actual bullish candle, right? So that will actually be dope. That will be dope. But how are we going to figure out whether we can potentially see that actual pushback towards the upside? We have to scale down to our daily time frame and try and correlate price right over here as well, right? So we basically said that we wanted to see these lows being violated. We can see those lows has been violated quite nicely, right? And you know what, sell side liquidity has been taken out quite nicely as well, right? Now, when it comes down to the daily time frame, I would actually like to see us have a closure above these highs right over here, right, which is our buy side, but it will also be a market structure shift as well, right, for the daily time frame. So if we can have that closure above, you know what, I will expect price to have some sort of a shift back down and then another potential continuation move back towards the upside, right? So DXY on the daily time frame still bearish in my eyes, right? Guys, keep in mind that we find ourselves creating a beautiful low, lower low, lower low right over there. We have a high, lower high right over there as well, right? So if price is going to find itself having a closure above, is creating an actual higher high, right? So that simply means that we do have a shift in market structure. We are changing market structure from a bear market back into a bullish market, just like that. Okay, so closure above, then I would be like, cool, we are bullish. We can find ourselves having a further continuation move back towards the upside, right? And looking at my H4 time frame over here, literally painting the exact same picture, but you know what, it is painting the picture a little bit more clear for us right over here, right? As we can see that our sell side liquidity has been violated. Check that out right there. Boom, violated. We came all the way back up, right? And now we are finding ourselves having these beautiful highs right over there as well. So can we see price have that actual shift to the upside, having that actual closure, have some sort of a retest for a further continuation move back up? High possibility for price doing just that, right? Now, the other thing that is basically fiddling with me on the DXY would basically be these lows, right? We can see that we do have some relatively equal lows, right? We do see that we do have some relatively equal lows. So, right, this is how I'm finding myself doing it. Over the course of Monday, if we are going to have some sort of bearish momentum, right? Something like that, I would be looking on taking price towards the downside. I want to see price have a further continuation move back towards the downside, right? If Tuesday is coming, oh, okay, we're still bearish. Oh, okay. I just want to see price have a shift to the downside, because all I'm trying to do, just like on the weekly time frame, right? All I'm trying to do is figure out whether we are going to have a bullish candle or a bearish candle, because I want to find myself making sure that I'm participating with price on the NASDAQ during the New York Open, right? So me being a scalper, all I want to see is, are we going to find ourselves having another bullish candle? Are we going to find ourselves having a bearish candle on the H4 time frame, right? Where is momentum? Right. So if we are remaining bearish in structure, then obviously, you know what, these relatively equal lows would be an area which I will have in mind, right? But if we can find ourselves having that beautiful, beautiful shift to the upside, having that closure above, we will be changing market structure from this bear market back into a bull market. So with us basically taking out liquidity, I would still expect price to have some sort of a pushback towards the downside, right? Obviously, if we would have to have that shift to the upside, have a closure above, get out your Fibonacci at the candle to where we find ourselves having the closure above from, right? And expect price to at least come back into the 50%, back basically from a premium area to a discounted area ultimately, right? And yeah, you know, that's that. When it comes down to the DXY, I would like to see some further upside momentum during the course of this week, right? I want to see a bullish candle. Let me just put it like that. I want to see a bullish candle, another bullish candle on the DXY during the course of this week. All right. So a nice shift to the downside, and then a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shift back up, right? Even if I can get up my foot from that high to that low, just like that, we can see that we do have a fair value gap right over there, which is lining up within a discounted area, well, a premium area. Check this out, from that high to that low, boom, right there, right? So I won't be surprised if we can find ourselves having a beautiful shift back up in that region and then have a total dump to the downside, right? I won't mind that. I honestly will not mind that. All right. So scaling to the NASDAQ, let's see what's happening on the NASDAQ. I hope you have a clear understanding of what I basically just mentioned on the weekly time frame right over there. Right. So on the NASDAQ, what we can currently see is that, you know what, we have 10 days and 14 hours for this candle to close. Right. So on the NASDAQ, what we can see is that we are overly extended towards the upside, right? And we need some sort of a correction, right? We need some sort of a correction. But in overall, you know what, I'm still bullish on the NASDAQ, right? I'm still bullish on the NASDAQ. So on the monthly time frame, if we are going to look at these beautiful swing lows we have found ourselves creating right over there, you know what, you can find yourself grabbing a nice little fib just like that. Now, obviously, it won't be applicable on the monthly time frame, but as we're going to scale to the lower time frame, you know, it will basically make sense, right? So if I can maybe go to the weekly time frame and just show you guys, we can see that that candle, that down close candle we had on the monthly time frame, right there, that one, right? On the weekly time frame, we can see that that is a beautiful correction, which price has found itself creating right over there as well, right? So can we find ourselves seeing the NASDAQ have a further dip back towards the downside, back into this area over here, basically back into the discounted area for a further continuation move back towards the upside, right? There is a high possibility for price doing just that. Now, one thing when it comes down to the NASDAQ, right, is that as long as price is finding itself remaining within this candle right over there, right, I am bullish on the NASDAQ. I am bullish still on the NASDAQ, right? This is the weekly time frame. So we won't be able to be like, you know what, tomorrow we're going to see this candle basically being inside or outside of the box, right? So then we can make a conclusion. No, we can't, right? We can actually only make the conclusion once this thing has found itself closing, and that will be on Friday, midnight, right? Then we can be like, okay, we are bull, we are bear. Because if we are going to find ourselves having a closure below, then I would consider us basically being bearish in structure, wait for that retest, and then have that actual shift back towards the downside, right? That will basically be the game plan when it comes down to this beautiful, beautiful pair called the NASDAQ, right? But we can also see that with these formations over here, that our base is kind of in control as well. It looks like they want to find themselves flexing, right? Check this out. If we're going to look at the wicks, low, higher low, lower low, right? Bearish. Look at these wicks, high, well, high, higher high, lower high, bearish. Right? So our base, they are quite showing somewhat of momentum, right? And if I want to see the DXY have some sort of an actual, you know what, a bullish momentum to the upside, this simply means that the NASDAQ might find itself also having some sort of a shift back towards the downside, right? And if I would have to find myself boxing out the nearest area on the NASDAQ, it will basically be this down close candle, which we have found ourselves creating over there as well, right? Now, from this candle, we can also see that, you know what, if I'm going to get out the flip from the low to that high, we can see that price is finding itself tapping within what? In a equilibrium, right? So can we see prices come back down and then have a further continuation move back to the upside? High possibility of that happening as well, right? There's a high possibility of that happening as well. All right, so let's scale down to the daily time frame. Now, on the daily time frame, if we want to see price have that actual shift to the upside, what do you think? What do we need to see? We need to see some sort of a change in market structure, right? From this beautiful bear market back into a bull market to be looking for some longs. All right. And can we see that price is finding itself having some change in market structure? There's no change in market structure whatsoever. We still be. Check this out. Low, lower low. Right. Now, with price basically creating a lower low, what is that already signaling to you? That's already signaling that, you know what, we need some sort of a pullback when it comes down to this beautiful pair called the NASDAQ, right? We need some sort of a pullback. All right. We need some sort of a pullback. Now, let's dress up our charts just a little bit. So we can basically see that liquidity has been taken right there. And then we can see that we do have right over here some relatively equal lows, which is coming through right over there, right? So I won't be surprised if price is going to find itself taking out this relatively equal lows, because what do we know about relatively equal lows? We know that we have liquidity resting below these areas, right? And then we're going to find ourselves having an actual shift back to the upside, right? Now, if price is going to find itself having a beautiful shift to the downside, take out these relatively equal lows, where is the next area we can find ourselves taking price back into, right? This is simply where you can find yourself once again, the swing point right there to the candle, which is going to find itself coming all the way back down there, right? To the wick. You just adjust your trend line, well, your Fibonacci, right? Where is your discounted area? Well, your premium area, right over there. All right. So you are then going to find yourself just boxing out that right there, just like that. Bang. And then you have your fair value gap. Just like that. Boom. And right there, you have a point of interest, right? You have a point of interest to where price can potentially find itself having some sort of a shift back towards the upside, right? Because price is not just moving like that all time. Price is moving like this, right? So after price is basically creating a beautiful shift back to the downside, creating some sort of an actual higher low, right? Price have to find itself creating a higher high. After price is creating a higher high, you're expecting price to have a shift back to the downside, right? After price is creating a higher high, you're expecting price to have some sort of a downside momentum, right? Same thing when it comes down to your base as well. If you know that price is creating a lower low, you need to wait for some sort of a pullback, right? To continue with the overall trend whatsoever. And that's literally the exact same thing. That's how you find yourself coming to the charts each and every single day, right? So can we basically see price have something like that playing out over the course of, this week whatsoever, right? And yeah, PA over the course of last week was just amazing, right? It was just amazing. So on the H4 time frame, this is basically where we can see it so much more clear, right? This is where we can see it so much more clear, right? Equal lows right over there. Can we find ourselves taking out this area of liquidity? And can we have that beautiful shift back to the upside, right? Because one thing that is also standing out to me is the following. Check this out. If I'm gonna have to zoom price in a little bit, right, and maybe go to a lower time frame for you guys. What can we see? What did price do? We can definitely see that price created a beautiful equal high right there. So what does that say? What does that say, fam? That is already saying that, we have liquidity resting above this area. All right, we have liquidity resting above this area, and we just found ourselves boxing out a beautiful daily fair value gap, which is lining up over there as well, right? So these relatively equal highs price I find itself creating over there is a signal to me that, we can find ourselves having that actual beautiful shift back towards the upside, right? And if we are going to look at PA from where we are currently, right, or from this low at least, that is 512 pips to the upside. To me, who is a scalper, that's more than enough pips to play around with. Right? That's more than enough pips to play around with, right? So all I will then find myself doing is simply just wait for a proper change in market structure, right? Because currently we are still bearish in structure. So we need to wait for price to create some sort of an actual change in structure from this beautiful bear market into a bull market so that we can find ourselves being reactive and at least wanting to see price come all the way back up, back into these beautiful equal highs we have found ourselves creating right over there, right? So definitely I want to see these lows also being violated, and then I will just wait for some sort of a change in structure. And you know what, the area I would have my eye out on for this week will basically be these highs, right? First of all, it will be the nearest high, which is that one, right? After that high, and then I will focus on that one. Okay, so I hope you guys have a clear understanding of what I basically just made mention. If you have any questions whatsoever, input whatsoever, something that you find yourself taking away, make sure to drop it in the comment section, right? I highly do appreciate each and every single one of you. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and if you are an OG, thank you for being here. Make sure to hit a comment or something, right? I appreciate each and every single one of you. Till next time, right? It's me, your boy D. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. I'm out.